is good? My anime faithful, what is good, you guys? We are in quite an interesting state of this show. Not only have we've gotten quite a bit of information of why Lich is the way he is once he starts freaking out, from a couple episodes ago when he actually kind of just went bloodlust and started losing it. It all is being explained relatively slowly, but at least it's being explained nonetheless. And that's the most important thing about this show, or like just getting shows like this, is they're not afraid to give us these types of answers, give us these types of outcomes, because it wouldn't have made much sense to just try to guess why Lich is the way he is, including if he really was the person from 300 years ago, all that stuff. So now that we have the information as of why he is the way he is and why he was doing the things, and then all of a sudden kind of didn't even recall doing anything, right? Like, I guess he didn't recall, I guess it's a bad term, but he didn't live his life like that after it was all said and done, right? Like, it's not like he was ultimately that person from start to finish, is what I'm trying to say. And because of the experience he's had, it would make more sense why he was that way. And getting all that information just makes this show that much more scary when it comes down to what the heck is the overall outcome. Like, what's the end of this show? Because as of right now, I don't think a lot of people want to know what the heck's gonna happen at the end of the day, just to see, um, where Lich ends up, where everybody ends up at that point. So we kick it off with seeing him just absolutely bodying and growing more and more towards the bloodlust side, I guess you can say, of his new DNA within his body. So because he's um, becoming one with it, so to speak, becoming one with the person that donated all the stuff, his blood and the ability to fight the way that he fights and be as strong as he is. Once he started killing and taking lives, that's what actually pushed him even further over the edge to be at a point where he is around, I want to say, a couple years into it after uh, Hana and everybody winds up getting taken back into 300 years into the future. It just goes to show his slow and sure progression of just becoming this mad, like titan pretty much, or ace as they call him. And to see him go as far as taking out someone that was a childhood friend just really solidifies how far he's fallen from who and what his ideals were and what he wanted to be at the end of the day, which that really hurts the most, right? Like, watching someone who truly wanted the best for people and truly wanted to just grind and make sure people were living better lives, and not only that, that the people he was growing with weren't going to take lives, and knowing that what taking someone's life, or hundreds of lives to thousands to tens of thousands, right? Like, what it can actually do to you kind of solidified just how far someone like him can even fall. And once he had fallen, he had just started to become more and more like Sherman. And because of that, it was clear who was the true like influence behind all of his killings, all of his like overall just nastiness that he gains once he is pushed to the limit where he just has to absolutely destroy or get destroyed in his mind. So to know that this doesn't just come out of nowhere, and it's definitely from him gaining the powers from someone else, even that person was kind of beat up about it, but we see at the end of the day, like 300 years in the future, he could still be alive, or like they said, when they figured out about the girl who was capable of going from the past and the future to like visit or send people through, they kind of got the idea that this might be their way to probably, communicate or do stuff. But we also got to remember that the girl who sent them into the future or into the past and came back to the future or to the present, I should say, she would have been experiencing this at some time if they were doing anything bad to her or if they started doing anything bad to her. She would have those experiences, and that version of her, if she winds up dying, would, you know, completely take out the other ones. So, I mean, it is if that's how the story author wants to use time. I mean, clearly she knew that sending them there wasn't going to change everything, but at least, like we're seeing with our people returning, it seems like either Lich is going to remember the 3-year promise, 300-year promise, or because of everything he's gone through and all of the trauma and bloodlust and stuff from Sherman's side, he might have actually forgotten about it. But surprisingly enough, the next episode is called Cheating. So who did he? How did he cheat? Who did he cheat on? And the other part is, uh, this isn't the first person who actually attempted to give the Lich love, right? Like to try to be his end all be all when it comes down to loneliness and having someone by his side. This wasn't the first person to do it, being our girl from the main, from the present. We have someone who was spending a lot of time with him as he was slowly and surely changing into someone completely different, and she wound up staying by his side throughout the whole entire ordeal, knowing that supposedly she won't, age, or she did age while he didn't age. So what what was done differently to actually have her aging and him not, right? Like what was that interaction that made that possible, which is an interesting fact that I was looking into. So um, that's why this show is obviously just really ridiculously hype at this point. Some people may dislike it, some people may like it. I honestly am just giving my opinions. I'm not trying to state the fact that you should like it. I'm not trying to state the fact that you shouldn't. It's just that people have already tried to jump down my throat for enjoying the series when there's stuff out there that says otherwise or whatever the case may be. I don't really care, right? Like if someone came to me and said, "Oh, if you dislike this show and talk bad about it for $100," I wouldn't do it because it would be pointless. Because all of a sudden, I would have to remember those points that I made, that I stand by, that I don't actually stand by, right? Like that I don't actually believe in myself. So overall, being honest sometimes hurts you more than being a liar and just saying things that people want to hear. So remember that the next time you really, really enjoy something and then someone's trying to make you understand why it's not good, why it's negative, why it's whatever the case may be, because that is definitely what happens to me a lot. It's almost like they're trying to influence me to go to a different side of my own opinion, which it is just my opinion, right? Like it's how I feel. I'm being honest, and if you want me to change it just because you don't like it, I don't think I'm the YouTuber or content creator, whatever the heck you want to call me, for you, because I stick by my guns. Even if things change in the future, I have no problem saying I was wrong and that I didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I would. That's never been a problem for me. So hopefully Plunderer keeps this up because I'm absolutely loving this backstory that we just got. I'm loving the fact of learning what the heck is possible in this world. Also that the whole entire abyss itself is just the lower world. It's just where everybody has come from. After getting the original 7 ballots, they pretty much used the ability and the power to raise 3,000 like meters or 3,000 pretty much of just their own land to be formed and to give them what they're looking for when it comes down to space, when it comes down to actually having their own resources and stuff. But then you'd think that they were living on their own and making, uh, making their own foods from farming or stuff like that. But come to find out, all they were really doing was just taking from the abyss, which is AKA the old world, and using it for themselves up top. So, regardless of how you look at this, what does that mean for the people that are still down there? We know that Class A actually died, like killed themselves off, so the orphans and people like that would have food to eat. So it's gotten so bad in the abyss that the only way to save people is for you yourself not to be alive, taking up the resources that these people would need to survive off of. That's how ridiculous it's gotten to this point of just what's happening, what's probably going to continue to happen, and more or less what I expect is more of the same. I mean, and come to find out that Lich is here to China. He's gone up there to pretty much snuff out all of the government. He wants to take these people out. He wants them to not steal from the abyss and stuff. But at this point, how much of this does he actually remember? Like, how much of this stuff is something he knows he's doing, or is he just doing it because he wants to do it, right? Like, there's so many different questions I have, but at the end of the day, Plunderers is probably going to give me a good amount of answers, seeing how they're breaking down a good bit of what's going on in the story, which I appreciate. And I'm just looking forward to now hearing what you guys have to say, and above all else, just where the story as a whole is going to head. Because as of now, I'm pretty sure if you don't like the story or whatever, you've already dropped it. But for me, it feels like there's a lot of people that love hanging on to shows and different stuff just to talk bad about them and watch them just to try to find something even worse that they don't like and whatever. But regardless of those types of people, all I can say is watch what you want to watch and enjoy what you want to enjoy, because at the end of the day, those are the types of people I want to talk to. Those are the types of people I want in the community of that the one I'm trying to create, because you guys make it that much fun, that much more fun, and that much more easier to talk about things I truly appreciate without holding anything back, because I know you guys aren't holding back as well. So, with all that being said, everybody have an awesome day, night, evening, whatever the case may be when you're watching this. I am your boy, the Anime G, and I will definitely talk to you sooner than later. So with that being said, take care and peace.